so that was cool. That actually showed up. Ah, sweet. I'm able to put Jace's comment on the feed. So that's a new feature. And I can turn it off. And let me see, I can turn the other one on. That's pretty cool. I've never done that before. So that I downloaded something called Social Stream Ninja, which it's pulling the YouTube comments. I don't know if it's pulling the LinkedIn comments yet, so we'll have to wait. Actually, I could post a LinkedIn comment. Let's just see here. Let's just test that out. Stop. Test comment from LinkedIn. Okay, I posted it on LinkedIn, and yeah, I'm not seeing it featured, so something's weird with that one. Let's see. Thanks, Jace. Jace said, good job on those. Appreciate that. Thank you, Eugene. Appreciate that for letting me know everything's working. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. I'm not. The comments aren't coming over with my tool that I'm using. So this is the. Well, you can't see it. Let me hide. Stream thumbnail. Let's see. Oops. Let's try. Oh, bugger. Let's do this again. I don't have the right window up. Apologies, guys. It's been an interesting week. Still trying to get things back to normal for me. All right, let's turn that off. Stream thumbnail. There we go. And what I was trying to show you that's not coming over is this the application called Social Stream Ninja. And I added the YouTube and LinkedIn stuff, but that LinkedIn isn't pulling in the comments. So let me try popping out the chat. Who can see this post? No, I don't want all that. Just need the chat over out. Oh well, we won't. I can test with somebody later to figure that out. So either way, I can feature the comments on YouTube, which is what I wanted to do. We'll figure out the LinkedIn stuff at a future time. But so today my goal was to show. Let me just put this in here one more time. Okay, so it wants me to sign into LinkedIn. That's the problem. Let's just do that real quick. Apologies, everybody. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? So we're going to be talking about source control today, and I picked this topic because I have some bigger demo topics I want to cover at some point, and I wasn't quite ready, and I know that I use source control for almost all of my applications. It's not like in my authentication code for LinkedIn for some reason. 87947. Okay. Looks like I'm signed into the chat for LinkedIn. So, hey, if someone's on LinkedIn, looks like there's a couple people there. Eugene or Robert, thanks for watching. Can you just drop another comment? I just want to see if that comes through and if I can spotlight the comment or not. And then if that doesn't work, I will move on. But yeah, so source control was a topic. So my agenda in the demo is I'm going to show you basically setting up an app in ServiceNow, creating a repo for it, syncing it to source control, so doing a commit, creating branches, stuff like that. And then if we have time towards the end, oh my God, Robert, it worked. Okay, so now I can look on to the left-hand side. I can feature Robert's comments. Sweet. I got it working. Thank you so much, Robert. This is so much nicer than me trying to read the comments. I can actually feature them. So got another one from Eugene. Thank you, Eugene. I'm able to feature it right there, over there. So that's pretty cool. What's nice is it's also letting me, I'll show you what it looks like. Actually, it won't show because I have it set to not show OBS, but it marks them green when I've highlighted them or clicked on them. So there's Jace with some thumbs up. Got it. Love it, Jace. Thank you. All right. So yeah, that agenda that I was trying to go over there was doing the source control, basically setting up, and then the thing I played around with, and I hope we have time to get to, is the ServiceNow IDE, or integrated development environment, and using source control in there as well. So perfect. Robert says everything's working great. He's seeing the messages pop up. This is so much nicer than what I was trying to do before. So okay, so that's showing up, and we'll just get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go over to GitHub and just go to create a new repository for this demo. So we're going to create a new one, and we're just going to call this repository um, live stream demo. It will be our app name, right? We'll pretend like that. But you need a place to actually store um, your stuff, right? I'm going to keep this one as private. Some of these settings you may change and do different things, but I just essentially need a repo to set up in my instance, in my PDI. So I'll go ahead and create that repo. Now I've got the repo in GitHub. Now other Git providers are supported. I just happen to use GitHub, but there's other ones you can actually use. So there's my repo set up. The second thing that I do for setting all these up is I create a personal access token. And this is a personal preference. I create a personal access token for each instance and application. Application being the synonymous with the repository, right? So if you look at my repos, hopefully this doesn't reveal too much. I've got 38 of them. I kind of name them after whatever app I'm working on. So you can see there kind of stuff that I've done before. So when I create a key, a personal access token, I go to the settings menu. Let me move my head out of the way. Uh, yeah, so I go to the settings menu and or my name up top, and then I go to settings, which is right here on the right, and then that'll take me into the settings for now I'm advertising my email, into the settings for GitHub, and there's a developer settings on the bottom left, and in there you can create personal access tokens. And I've been using the fine grained tokens, so you can see here where I've set them up, and again I use the instance name plus the application that I'm syncing over. So we're going to go ahead and generate a new token so you can see what that looks like. And we'll call it after the instance name. So I'm going to grab my demo instance name and paste it in here. Get rid of that period. And I'll just do dash. And what do we name this? Live. I forgot the name of the repo already. Live, uh, live stream demo, I think it was. Live stream demo. So that creates the token name. I always set the expiration to a year out. You can do what you feel is best. I figure give me a year's window on that, and I will I'll probably lose the instance or do something weird. I never have a token actually in use for a year, but I'll put a year on that. I don't put any description on there. And let's see here. Jay says, remember when GitHub had private repos as a paid feature? Uh, that would have changed where you save these. I bet. Glad it's like it is now. Yeah, and I've thought about Jace actually ponying up. I think you could subscribe to GitHub at some point, or if there's so many public or private repos, they want you to subscribe. But yeah, GitHub has been my go-to. Not sure, not for any specific reason. I think it was more of one of those things where once you learn it, you know that system, and so you use it. I played around with the Atlassian one, and I haven't played around with the Azure DevOps source control integration. So yeah, so GitHub's the one I've been using. But yeah, I set a custom expiration date for a year out. And then again, it's my preference. I select which repository. So I very, very rarely or never use public or all repositories. However, for this demo, I did create a credential in advance with all repositories so that if something goes wrong, we run into an issue, I'll have a credential that has access to everything and I can back up to that. So, but for this part, we're going to only do select repositories, and we're going to do that new one that we just made. So I think it was called live. Oh, I'll just scroll for it here. Live stream demo is the repository you want to give access to. You could select more than one if you wanted to. Now, the permissions, I do this the same way every time and it works fine. Oh, I got another comment from Jace. I'm going to highlight it. GitLab is nice. Yes, that must be the other one. Is it GitLab? I think GitLab, is that the one that's associated with Atlassian? Um, that sounds familiar. Or it's, if you're using Jira, or that it's automatically has a connector for GitLab, maybe that's what I'm thinking. But okay, so the permissions. Now, these permissions, I do only repository permissions, and these specific ones work for me every time. So there's 6 different permissions I set up. The first one is the commit statuses. I give it read and write. The contents, I give it read and write. The deployments, I give it read and write. And then merge queues, I give read and write. This metadata is mandatory, has to be there. And then the last one I do is the pull requests, read and write. So then that gives me 6 specific permissions. So I'm always checking because I haven't actually written down how I do this. I go do those read and write permissions and I make sure there's 6 because I've always 6 for some reason when I do it. And then I generate the token. So hit generate token. And what GitHub does is they generate it and you have like just that one time to copy this and put it in your wherever you're going to use that credential at. So once you've moved off this screen or hit refresh, it disappears. What I'm doing off screen is I copy and pasted that over into my OneNote so that we have it when we go into ServiceNow. Jay said no, he doesn't think they're with Atlassian. Okay, maybe it's an open source thing. I don't know, but yeah. So GitLab, if you're looking for repos, I'm using GitHub. Jace mentioned GitLab. I would trust Jace. He's very, very smart and knows his stuff, especially when it comes to development. So, all right, so we've got our token made. I'm going to head over into the PDI now. My heater just came on, so we turn that off. It's a bit cold here in North Carolina. I think it's cold everywhere right now. So I have a little space heater to kind of keep the heat how it should be, but it's too loud for a live stream. So once you have your repository set up, which we did in GitHub, once you have your personal access token, like I did in GitHub, there's probably an equivalent for GitLab or other repos. Then you want to come into ServiceNow and create a credential that based on that. So I have some already set up. There's my Justin's house and my app miner, but we're going to do one together. So I'm going to click the new button, and then we're going to do a basic authentication credentials, basic auth credentials, I think it actually says, if it ever responds to my new button here. Hopefully my PDI doesn't misbehave during all this. So here's what we're doing. Basic auth credentials as the client we want to use. And it's as real simple as putting in your username or giving it a name. So I do my habit is GitHub plus the app name or plus the repo name. In this case, it was live stream demo. I keep forgetting. Username is my email. Unfortunately, on my videos that I record and publish, I always blur my email out. But here in the live stream, I don't know how to do that yet. So I'm just going to risk it. And people might spam me. That I just pasted in was the personal access token. Fortunately, it masks that, so we're not going to see it. You're not going to see it, but it's a really, really long token that's generated. Hit submit, and you're done with the credentials piece. It was that easy. Now, there was Jace tagged me on a post on LinkedIn earlier. Someone was talking about source control support in ServiceNow. The places where you can configure this, and I'll show you all of them, is in the Legacy Studio. So if you just search for Studio, let's see if it even shows up. Yeah, Service, not this one right here, Studio. This is the old Studio version that's probably going away at some point, and then you can get to source control within that. That's not what we're going to do on this particular demo. The second place you can do it is App Engine Studio. That's actually what we're going to do in this live demo, is configure in App Engine Studio. So I'm glad that opened up. The place where it does not work yet is ServiceNow Studio. Unfortunately, and I like ServiceNow Studio so far, but unfortunately it doesn't support source control yet. And then the last place that I was playing around with this morning is the ServiceNow IDE. So let's just search for, actually I have to get some of my favorites. Not these favorites, my other PDI favorites. Well, that's going to be, but well, we can go to my other PDI if I need to. Yeah, so I don't even have it installed on this one, but that's fine. We'll go to the other one. So those are the places where you can do it. And then I imagine if you have the Now SDK loaded locally, you know how to connect your source control there. So we're going to do it in App Engine Studio. And we're going to start by just creating a new app. So I'm going to use the interface here, and we're just going to create a new app together. We'll name this one live stream demo, just like before, and I'll move that name of that into the description here. Got another comment from Jace, looks like here. You can cut the section out with the email post submit on YouTube. You can cut this section out with the email post submitted on YouTube. Okay, so you're saying I can go blur the email afterwards? Okay, yeah, I might go try that. I've noticed that the live streams, it hangs on, or it like the video is there for people to watch, which makes sense. But yeah, LinkedIn does it; it saves it, and YouTube does it, and that's the only two services I'm using now, since I'm a baby at this, and I'm not trying to overwhelm myself. So here's the app getting created. We'll just hit continue. I'll leave the roles and everything. The app creation isn't the important part of this demo. It's the source control integration that I really want to emphasize. So I don't want to spend too much time on the actual contents of the app. There's lots of way to add things or create apps and add things to it. I'm just using App Engine Studio for the look and feel of it. So the thing I keep dismissing at the top, which is kind of funny, is these banners telling me to use ServiceNow Studio because that's the new experience that ServiceNow wants to drive people to. But unfortunately, we can't do source control there, so I keep dismissing those banners that you're seeing there. But now I've got my app. So the last part to connect this to source control is to use the big button that says source control at the top, and we'll actually be able to connect this to GitHub. So we'll just do link to source control, and we'll go grab our URL for that repo. So I'm headed back over to GitHub. We got the live stream demo, and then you can't see it, so let me drag it down. I'm just going to grab the URL right from the browser and paste that into this URL right here. Now, the second part, the branch, this is what it always defaults to, and I always change this to main, which is the branch that's in my repository. The It says it's not best practice and to use the default naming convention is strongly encouraged, but I've never used the default naming convention and I've never had an issue. I'm able to use all the features and functionality, but I'm also one guy, right? So if you have a team of developers, I don't know if that's where it actually starts happening or having issues, but let's see. Jace asks, do you know if you can make a global app in App Engine Studio? I don't. I don't know that answer. Um, let's see. I don't even know, Jace, what a global app is. I didn't know that that was a possibility. Okay, Jace does the same thing I do. Okay, so he's saying it would be useful on a team to do that. So that doing the branch that we're talking about. So let's see. Eugene says there is a system property to set branch to main. Okay, sweet. Oh, on ServiceNow, so it won't default this every time. That is awesome to know. Um, let's see. You can develop. You're currently working this branch. Okay. All right. So we're gonna set it to main, and I always set the default email to my email address, of course, and then the credential we already did. So there's my GitHub live stream demo. So I use the credential, and then now I'll be able to link this to source control. So let's go ahead and hit link to source control. Thanks again, Eugene, for that. I'm gonna hunt down that system property and make sure that's changed for me. All right, we have successfully committed this application to source control. So if we go back over to the repo and hit refresh, we should see now that there's some stuff happening in the well, we're not in the main branch. Let's move to main. And there we go. We can see there's the source control properties from ServiceNow and a folder with the sysid on it, and then some information in there. And then at this point, my observations have been that mostly what's happening here is they're just update sets stored in source control. So if you were thinking like I was when I initially started messing with this, that using source control would get you away from using update sets, that's not the case. It's basically storing the update sets inside of source control. So, oh, cool. Eugene just posted the link. I wonder if can I click on that? Let's go ahead and open that up while I've got it on the screen. Uh, Here's what Eugene set default branch. Awesome. Oh, you add the system property. Sweet. And then that would, I'm gonna go with this. Thank you, Eugene. You are awesome. I'm gonna copy the system property and we're gonna do this live. So let's go to sys underscore properties dot list. That's how I get to the system properties. I don't know why I don't keep a favorite for it. When I'm told to add a property, I always search for it anyways first just to see if it's already there, and it's not. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new property. Thanks to Eugene finding that, and we'll paste that into there. And then I didn't actually pay attention to what the value should be. And specify the default branch name. Okay, so we'll set the default branch name to main, M-A-I-N, and hit submit. Ooh, it's putting it in the scope of my application. Do I want to do that? Nah, I don't want to do that. Okay, so what I noticed there, you if you've done this before, you probably want to pay attention in where you put to your system properties. And I've messed that up before, and I don't want to mess that up again. Let's see. Reese on the other thread on LinkedIn was saying that using the IDE locally saves things in Git using Fluent. Yes, yes, it does. Which I'm still trying to pick up how Fluent. I've been playing with the IDE and the SDK, but I actually haven't written any Fluent yet. But I did notice it stores it that way. So yeah, thanks, Chase. All right, so I'm gonna get back out of this and change my scope here real quick. There was another post Jace had posted on. So what was happening is when I moved into App Engine Studio and created this app, on the back end it changed my scope, my application scope to that live stream demo app. And that's not the behavior in something like ServiceNow Studio. So we just showed live there that doing something here in App Engine Studio actually changes your application scope here. So I'm going to move it back to global, and then we'll create that system property here. So I'm just going to paste in that name, we'll type in MAIN as the branch name, hit submit, and confirm we're in global scope, which we are. And then now that that's there, I'm going to go back to my live demo scope here. Live stream demo. There we go. All right, so I got my system property in there. Now I'm curious. This is already linked to source control. So let's go home here and see all of my apps. I have anything I was testing with? Oh, these are all demo stuff. Load more apps. Let's just create a new one. Or import. Can I import? Yeah, okay. That showed that it works. So Eugene, you are the man. It fixed it, and now I never have to change that again because that's actually always what I use as main as the branch. So awesome. I learned something in the live stream. That's cool. Okay, so we diverged. We'll go back to this application, and what was next on my list? I think I wanted to actually, we linked it to source control. So let's actually create something. So I'm just going to create a flow here real quick. And I've never built a flow this way, so this is startling me. I didn't know there were like pre-canned things. That's pretty neat. Let's send a notification to a workspace. Slack's not installed. Gmail's not installed. Okay, let's go from scratch because I've never noticed those before in App Engine Studio. So we'll just do demo flow, continue. And what I'm trying to show here by adding some stuff to the app is that if we were to bring this app into another PDI, it's going to bring everything with it. And I think that's the kind of point of showing this, right? So now I've got that demo flow. In theory, I could go add some steps to it or whatever. But again, it's not the content of the app that I'm really trying to focus on demoing or showing to you guys. It is the fact that it's now connected to source control. So having something in there is fine. We'll just go ahead and build a trigger here. It's created, select table. This flow is not going to do anything. It's just to make sure there's something in there. Let's do the incident table since that everybody should be familiar with that one. And then we will add an action to, we'll just log a message or something. Yeah, log testing is fun, exclamation point. Okay, so now I have a flow with a step in it and a trigger. I'll even activate it. Actually, you know what? I don't want to activate that. Let's deactivate that every time an incident is created. Not that there's a lot of incidents getting created, but okay. So I've got some content in the app, and I'm going to commit those. So this is, if we go into the repo, we should see there's really not much going on. There's that first application configuration, and there's the roles that are associated with my app. So when I commit, I'm going to expect to see something from that flow that I just created. So let's go ahead and do our first commit together. So we'll commit changes. It automatically picks up on the changes that you've made in your update set, but you can actually include changes not tracked there if you check that. But I always just stick with what's here. I click continue, then it'll show you what you've selected, and then you can add a commit comment. And usually for me, what I try to do here is just say like what I was doing. Most of the time, it's like I'm updating this or enhancing that. In this case, we're doing a live demo period. And then behind my head there's a commit files button, which is what I'm going to hit in order to commit that. Oops, made my head really, really big. And there it is, it's committing it, and it's writing it to source control. So I like to think of this step right here as my backup, right? I just created something in my PDI, or I created something in an instance, and by coming in here and hitting commit, I've backed it up to GitHub. And now I can take that app anywhere and pull it back into another PDI, which we'll do here. Go ahead and close that, and we'll check on the repo here and see if we see anything new. And we do. There's our syshub flow that's now showed up with our commit message doing a live demo. And we can see that we're talking back and forth. So that's great. The next thing that I wanted to show was the idea of branching and making changes. So it's not just backing up, which is kind of what I was after, but if you are, let's say you want to do something and you're not sure, you want to totally commit to it, you can fork the repository, create a branch. So we'll just create one. Does it have to be my new branch? I don't know if it has to be all one word. I think I can have dashes in there like this. We'll just do a new branch, create. And if you're doing this with a team, right, with a company, you're probably going to have some kind of naming convention for how to do that. But now I'm working within that branch, not the main branch. I'm now in my new branch. And so any changes I make are going to be part of that new branch. So let's go ahead and let's make another change. What can we do to be fun? We can create, I can't add anything there. Let's add an automation. Build an automated email. Yeah, that sounds like fun. We all need more emails, right? Demo email table. We'll do the incident table again. And probably there's a template I can use. Yeah, incident, header details. Okay, great. I'm not going to add any other filters or recipients. I just want to create the object so that we have something in our branch. Okay, it's been created. And now I have that, and I can actually move between the new branch that I'm on, or I can go to main. But before I do, it needs to know what to do with the changes I just made. So this is part of what I wanted to cover, this idea of stashing, right? So I made a change, I created an email template. I'm asking it to move back to the main branch by using the switch branch feature, and it's saying, hey, you have some changes. What do you want to do with those? Do you want to stash them, or you want to just junk them and discard them? So let's say we'll stash it, and we'll just give it a description showing how to stash changes. And remember, our change was that notification, that email notification. So we're going to switch back to the main branch from my new branch, and that email notification is going to disappear. It's no longer going to be part of our app because now we're back in the main branch, which is by intention. So I close, and there we are. There's my flow. There's my security, all that set up just like before. But my email notification is now gone because I switched back to the main branch. If we go into the repo itself, let's just go in here, we should see that there is now a main branch and my new branch. If we go into my new branch, we should see that notification in the updates there. I don't see it actually. Is it because, am I in the right branch? Did I just confuse myself? No, I'm in my new branch. Yeah, I don't see the email notification there either. Interesting. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. Let's go back to App Engine Studio and see if we can switch branches um, back to, oh, I stashed it. That's right. I forgot I stashed it. So I've got my new branch. So yeah, I should clarify there. Stashing it actually stashes it locally within the instance. So it wouldn't actually write it to source control. So I need to get that stash and apply it back. So I'm back in the new branch, my new branch. I have that, but I have some stash changes. So let's go ahead and manage the stash. There it is, showing how to stash changes. I can delete it with the delete button over there, but I'm actually going to apply it and get my email notification back into the branch. And now you've just seen how stashing works. So it is a local stash, and I kind of forgot about that as I was showing you the repo. Um, all right, where is it? Where's my email? This is getting annoying. I'm in my new branch. I don't see the email. There's the email right there, but it's not showing up on this list. Let me just refresh. I've lost my email notification, which is the whole point of showing you this. I guess I'll apply it again. I don't know why. Now it's applying it. Successfully committed stash into the instance. Close. But it's not there. I don't see my email notification. Well, that's a demo fail. So what I'm going to do to emphasize the difference between these branches, I'm going to add the email notification back again that disappeared. Demo email notification. We'll use the task table this time. And then I'll grab an email template. Is there anything for task? Nope. We'll just choose that incident one again. I think it was, oh, I wonder if these templates are specific to what I just chose on the table. So let's scroll back up there to the table name. Looks like there's some filtering going on the templates. Yeah, there's my templates that I was looking for. Okay, so we'll go with that one, and then I'll hit create. My email notification has been created. Okay, and there it is on my logic and automation within my new branch. So let's go ahead and commit that. We'll write that to source control, which I didn't do the last time because we stashed them, and then created email notification. Another best practice I'm not doing here, I'll talk about it, is prefixing my commit comments with a story number. That's usually a fairly common practice for developers to associate their commits with what they're actually working on. Because I'm Justin and I'm not, writing stories. I actually use stories, but not to the professional extent that a developer would. So your mileage is going to vary on these commit comments, is I guess the message there. But I will do bad practice and commit that without the proper story number. And this should write the email notification configuration to GitHub. So we should now see in here the update or the notification that I was looking for. So let's actually look. There's the email action right there on the bottom. So it got committed to this my new branch. So if we move in GitHub to the main branch, we are not going to see that email notification. So I've got basically two versions of my app going on now, which is by design, right? That's the whole point of source control and repositories, is to be able to do this kind of stuff and then merge them back together later. But importantly, ServiceNow understands it, right? So now this should work. I have my demo email notification and my demo flow because I'm in the my new branch. And if I move or switch branches to my main branch, look, it found that stupid demo email again. I'm going to discard that this time. And we're going to move to main, switch. Chase, there's a lot of opinions about commit notes. Yes, there are, and I don't want to get in that argument because I'm not experienced enough of a developer to reason through that argument. What I do know is for how do I say this? Continuous, not continuous improvement, continuous delivery and automation of things like pipelines and deployments. Um, those commit comments can be they can be very important for facilitating those processes. So And Jay says, bah. I'm going to close that. And now we have switch branches, right? So we're in the main branch. We've only got our flow. If I switch back to the my new branch, we'll see that we have the flow and the email notification. And that's kind of what's by design. That's what we want. So I can work on something and not disrupt the main code or the main committed or approved or properly versioned code. So I can be working and not disturbing anybody. Ooh, I got a nice message here from Eugene. So Eugene says, use case for stashing multi-developer scenario. If two developers are working in the same branch of a scoped app and developer one wants to commit, they can stash developers two's changes, allows developer one to issue a pull request to install their changes to test. Yeah, that's the other thing I don't have to worry about is working with other developers too. All my stuff is by myself. So yeah, that's super critical. So you guys don't step on each other's changes too, right? Because I guess in theory, that other developer could be changing the same things that you're changing. May not be, but it could, and then there would be conflicts, right, for doing that. So yeah, that's very helpful, Eugene. All right, so we did the create branch. The next thing I want to show is pulling from the repository, right? So let's say that, let's actually move into our main branch here. Switch branch. Actually, let's not do that. Let us, I wanted to kind of merge that, but I'm not. Okay, so we'll pull, there's no unstash files. So if I pull from the repository, basically it's going to look at the repo and bring back down anything that's different. So I'm in the my new branch, so it's pulling in the email notification that we actually did. Now, if I added something else, we'll just do another flow here, built from scratch. Flow number 2, continue. And we won't put anything in this one. I'll just save it and kind of go back. Perfect. So now I've got 3. That change hasn't been committed to source control. So when I pull from the repository, it is going to ask me first what to do with those changes, just like Eugene was talking about. These are my changes, or could be someone else's changes. I could stash them. We'll just go ahead and stash them for fun. That was a flow, stashing a flow. And then when I pull from the repo, it's going to make sure that I match everything that was stored in the repo in my new branch. And so my stash change is gone. I won't see it anymore. And now I'm back on what was in the repo. Now, what didn't work earlier, we can try it again, is grabbing that flow back and putting it back into our application. So I'll try applying it again. This didn't work the last time we tried it. Yeah, still acting weird. I don't know why the stash management is not working. That is really weird. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's me not doing it properly. I've done this before, and it's giving me a confirmation message at the top that stashing a flow has been applied, but I'm just not seeing them. Let's commit the changes. Flow number 2. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and throw that up there. Again, the commit button's behind my head there. I'm hitting that so I can do commit my changes. Close. I'm still not seeing it. I'll hit refresh. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I had to do a refresh to get it in it. So there's my flow number 2 on my original flow. All right. So I think I covered everything I wanted to in App Engine Studio. Again, all of these actions you can do within the Legacy Studio, but that's going away. Can't do them in ServiceNow Studio yet. So the next that we do have time to get to is the IDE, which I'm going to have to switch to in my other instance here. Let me bring that over here and get to the ServiceNow IDE, which I think it's in my favorites. Yeah. All right. Let me make sure that's showing up nice. It is. Okay. This I'm less familiar with. I did this on like my first or second live stream. I set up the IDE, and it was the first time I ever done it. And what I did that I'm not going to make you watch again is I created a credential that, yeah, I created a credential that has access to all the repos so that I didn't have any issues while I was in the IDE. I don't recommend doing that. I try to make them app specific um, or repo specific, but I did in this case. So the how do you get the IDE? What do you mean, Jace? It's in the menus for if you go to the store, if you go to App Manager, let me pull this over here. I'm hiding like a list that was showing up. That's all that's going on, everybody. I'm not hiding anything super secret. I had my ideas list up. So Jace, I just installed it from here, ServiceNow IDE, and there's an update available. I think I remember that from SSH this week. There was an update to ServiceNow IDE, and you can get it in your PDI, Jace. So it's not a paid app or anything. So let's see. The latest introduced the user role for using source control in the ServiceNow IDE, which is exactly what we're talking about. And they fixed some issues with Git connectivity and fluent language server error messages. But it does require a unified developer core, which I think I already had installed. But yeah, we won't do the update live. We'll show this part that I figured out before the demo. So let's go to that repo, and I'm just going to grab the URL for the repo here live. You can't see what I'm doing. There we go. That's what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing this URL at the top, and we'll put that back, and then I'll switch back to my other PDI, and I'm going to clone a Git repository. So I'm just using this button over here, and I'm going to paste in the URL. I guess I should show you what I did first. So before I did that, what I did to prep for this is I created a credential. On your Mac, Command-Shift-P will get you in there, and I can set my IDE Git credentials. That did not happen before. Let's try that again. Set IDE credentials. Really strange. Just hit refresh again. Set ID. There we go. So that's what I was expecting. So basically, I put in the repo name, username, and personal access token. This is different from what we did before when we created the credentials. All right, so Jason's saying, I thought that was the ServiceNow Studio, not the IDE. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it wasn't ServiceNow Studio. You might want a new repo. I think you're right because I'm remembering that the um, this particular application has to have been created here, or I can't use another application. I can convert it, but I don't have time to convert it right now. If what Reese just wrote is accurate, it's totally different Git system under the hood. Yeah, I believe it is, Jace, because it's writing in Fluent, like you mentioned earlier. So yeah, exactly right. So I've already got the credentials set up, and I can show you that. So we'll just do Command-Shift-P and then manage Git credentials, and it's going to pop a new tab and show that I created these credentials. It says very different from the credentials we did earlier. To Jace's point, even look up here. It says IDE Git credentials. So it's even storing the credentials in a different place. Jace says, weird, I don't see that in the store for me. You don't see the IDE in the store? ServiceNow IDE. If you search IDE, you get a bunch too many options. And if you do ServiceNow space IDE in Application Manager, not the store. So don't go to the ServiceNow store, would be the other thing I'd say. Because to do it from there, you got to log in with an account that's linked to your instance, and you can't do that with PDI. But you know that, Jace. All right, so that's my credential that I already set up. So what we're going to do is create an app, and we'll give it a name, second live demo, I guess, and hit enter. And we won't put a description, doing a live demo. I guess I will put a description. And it's going to put a scope on there. I'm just going to confirm that, and the package name, and now I've got an application over here. More updates from Jace. Yeah, weird. and he'll look again later. What on earth is happening? I don't know what's happening. It's adding a bunch of npm packages, but I didn't do that. I don't know why that's happening. You can tell I haven't hit create new app in here before because I wasn't expecting that. However, the next step that we want to do is we are going to have to create a new repo. So I'm going to match the app name second live demo. So let's head back over here. We'll just do this really fast. I think I'm running out of time too. Repositories, new, and second live stream demo, I think I called it. Second. I already forgot what I called it. Second live demo is what I called it. We'll leave it private and hit create. And because I have those super credentials that I told you about, I don't have to worry about creating a personal access token for this one. Spinning up a local environment on another computer. I know why I'm on a Vancouver instance. There you go. I didn't even think about the versions, but yeah, that's probably exactly it. Nice work, Jace. All right. So now that I have the application created in the ServiceNow IDE, there's a button over here on the left-hand side in the IDE for source control, not Finder. So I'm just going to click on that and hit initialize repository. So this is going to initialize a local Git repository. We'll do the application folder second live demo. We'll leave the name as main. That's interesting, Eugene. I wonder if it picked up the branch name again from that system property. All right, so we did all that, and now I have all of these untracked changes. And what I can do is I can add these to, or I can stage them. So just move them up, hitting that plus sign. Again, I said earlier that I'm not a very experienced developer, so I know enough to follow instructions of what I'm doing. But this is all kind of, I don't work like this. I'm sure some of you do. And then after I've moved those to stage changes, I can put my commit message. Again, we won't get into an argument about what should be in the commit message. We'll just do live demo of commit from IDE, and then hit this check mark, and that should go ahead and commit my changes. They're still not in the repo yet. They're just here locally. So in fact, let's go back to the repo and show, let's go back to the right page, show that this is still empty. There is nothing in here yet. It's still in setup mode. But let's go back here. Now that I've committed my changes, now I just need to push these back to the repo, and that's what I'll do. So I'll do Command Shift P, and then I'm just going to do a git push, and it should prompt me for the repo is what I did earlier. Yeah, so do the git push, it prompts for the repo. I'm going to paste in that second live demo and hit enter, and it should do its thing. It's happening behind my head there. It's pushing to remote origin main, publish successfully to main, and then we're good. So if I go back to the repo now and hit refresh, we should see that, yeah, it's actually writing changes here. And this is what Jace was talking about, where it actually writes fluent and not the update sets. So these are little script files or fluent files, and then there's my server file like that. So I have successfully linked my new application from the ServiceNow IDE to GitHub, and I can work with it there. I've got some more chat messages here, so let's take care of those. Hi, hey Sanjay, glad to have you here. I've got a new feature, Sanjay, where I can show comments. Jay says, is there a terminal-like space to type in the IDE somewhere? Yes. It's, for me, Jace, I'm on a Mac. It's Command Shift P. Pulls up that terminal, I guess, that you're expecting. And then that's the only one that I'm familiar with. Let's see what this is. That's just build and deploy. That's now the SDK and then the Explorer. But yeah, I might have, before the demo, closed a window in this IDE for what you're talking about, and I don't know how to get it back. But you know what? Let's go here. That's an activity stream, not what I wanted. You can tell I was researching something earlier. This is what I want here. and using source control. So these are the Git commands, Jace, that it does support. And yeah, he's saying here it's not Command Shift P for him. For him, it's a Control plus a squiggly or a tilde, as we used to call it. So yeah, I'm looking. I don't see exploring the ServiceNow IDE. Let's make sure I didn't close something. I apologize for anybody who's like expecting an expert. I am not an expert in the IDE yet. I again, it's not my strength, developer, but it's a fairly new product, and I haven't had a lot of time to play with it yet. So, Jace, I don't know how to get back to. There was another window here at one point um, that I closed at some point, so I don't see. Those are problems. I'm clicking on these little icons on the bottom left here. This is the only command line thing I've actually done. And then toggle full screen, show settings, find in files, go to file, show all commands. Yeah. The only other thing that I've seen in here, like we were in the App Engine Studio, we were creating a flow and creating that email notification. You do that here in the metadata explorer is what I found, and you hit this plus sign to create a file, and then it gives you this interface to actually create a file. But again, Jace, it's not a command line or anything. It's you're actually going in here and doing that. So if we were to do the equivalent, I guess I could just search for flow. Hands on the wrong part of the keyboard. That's how I'd actually start creating a flow within the IDE. Jay says it makes sense. If you do command plus the tilde, does it open something? Yeah, let's try it. Command. It does not do anything for me, Jace. Let me go back to here where it was. Did I just kill my live stream? I think I might have killed the LinkedIn live stream. It did something else on my Mac, Jace. I should know better than to like be typing in commands that someone gives me in a chat. It didn't kill the live stream. It hit it or something on my Mac, but yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. So this isn't working. I haven't actually tried to create a flow from the IDE, but it's just blank. It's not actually doing anything. So this feels a little bit still buggy to me, the IDE, but yeah, Jace says no worries. Thanks, Jace. I got through what I had kind of wanted to get to, and I actually got through more of the ServiceNow IDE than I was hoping to. But that commit and push experience is a little bit different in the IDE, as you saw there, than it is on the in App Engine Studio. So maybe I'll make a video in the future of how awesome the ServiceNow IDE is. But yeah, that's what it looks like. So these are my commands, Jace. Now I'm showing it. I'm gonna show all commands, go to file, and when I show all commands, come on, there we go. I was just scrolling through and looking at all the different things that you could do. I don't know if that's helpful to you or not, but there's all the Git stuff. And I'm just scanning to see if there's like a command line uh, new window. What does that do? It opens up a new window. Have to go back there. There's lots of commands in here. Search, source control. Yeah, there's a lot to explore here. Clear output. Sorry about that. No worries. Yes, LinkedIn is still live. Yeah, I found the window. Thank goodness. Is there a terminal in there? Okay, let's search for terminal. No matching commands. Show all commands. Yeah, no terminal. I hate that it disappears like that too. View close editor, view focus, view grid, view join, view keep editor, move editor. open, view. Yep, I just scrolled through all of them, Jace. I don't see anything that jumps out at me. But again, I'm not uh, I'm not an expert in IDE. I just knew that source control was in the IDE, so I figured it'd be good to cover it in this live stream. So we've got a few minutes left. I'll open it up. Anybody have questions? Thanks, Jace. I learned stuff too, thanks to Eugene and that system property. That was pretty cool because I always have to change the branch name when I connect to repo. So thank you for that, Eugene. Any other questions or comments from the viewers out there in the internet? Got 2 whole minutes. All right, well, I will pop my, let's see, let's do the thumbnail here. Pop the thumbnail back up and just remind everybody that QR code that I was showing earlier. Let me show that here. That QR code links to all my socials. So LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and my blog, justin.house. That barcode will take you to all of those places. So if you're interested in following me there. But the real important message is that I'm doing this every Wednesday. I'm trying to focus on different topics, and some of them will be stuff that I'm learning. Some will be stuff that I'm researching, and weeks like today, it'll be stuff that I know pretty well and just want to get out there and show what that capability is. So I appreciate all of y'all's support. I hope you come back next Wednesday. I'll have the topic selected hopefully over the weekend here. Leaning towards something in enterprise architecture. If you have something you're interested in, it used to be called application portfolio management, but that's kind of where I'm leaning is on that application because I want to get in and start working with some of the new dependency diagrams and relationship stuff there. So thank you for attending. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. And if you know other people who might be interested in this, feel free to share it. Getting a little bit better with the comments and managing all that. So thanks again. I'm going to switch back to the video and put on the music that Jay said was too loud. So sorry, Jace. We'll pick different music this time. Maybe it won't be as loud.